Good afternoon. My name is Mike Scanlon, City Manager, City of Osawatomie, Kansas, and this is the weekend update for June 25th, 2021. Today I'm going to talk about three things, all of them tied to our five big goals, and I'll remind you what those are. Clean the community up, maintain and repair streets, economic development, creating housing of all types, and infrastructure, whether that's soft or hard. It's working on those things that tie a community together. So my three topics today really tie to those five goals. Last night at our city council meeting, we had the Committee of Landlords. If you remember last September, we started discussing the importance of having landlord regulations in order to make sure that rental property in our community is maintained. And with that came a lot of, at first, divisiveness, but then an understanding between the city and the landlords that this is something that the city was serious about and we needed their help on. And that's where the Committee of Landlords came from. Last night they made a presentation. They presented their statement of compliance that they want to start following. They came up with what I would say are better, more enforceable sort of regulations and interpretations. We'll be working to write those into ordinances and resolutions that they and us can follow, as well as the tenants. And I'd like to thank the chairman, Tracy Peterson, vice chairman, Doug Hensley. The committee members were Ron Dowd, David Madden, Joy Rivas, Owen Waddle, Sudan Bradley, and the secretary was Kristen Hensley. Those 8 people are making a difference in our community. Without their help, we wouldn't have had this statement of compliance, which is both binding on the landlord and the tenant, and as a requirement when you apply to connect to our utilities. So many thanks on that work. The next thing I want to share with you is a letter that we've received from the Office of Rural Prosperity from the state of Kansas. Fellow Kansans, thank you for applying to be a part of ORP's Pilot Rural Mural Project. We are looking forward to this opportunity supporting rural Kansans in enhancing their community vibrancy through artistic expression. It is with excitement that we share the Pilot Year awardees. The following communities have been selected to receive funds for this year's project. Congratulations to each of the awardees. The communities that were awarded, and there were 11 that were applying for this pilot program, were Cortland, Kansas, Jetmore, Kansas, Medicine Lodge, White Cloud, and Osawatomie. A lot of thanks to Sam Moon, who was given basically a day and a half to put the application together. We're looking forward to participating in this project. It's about painting murals on buildings within your community. So if you think about what Osawatomie looked like 100 years ago, 120 years ago, and the type of murals and paintings that you would see on the side of buildings, this project and this grant is bringing that back into the small rural communities, and we're excited to participate. The last thing that I would share with you, because history I think is one of the things that we can learn from, and it also shows us the aspirations of those generations that we've built our foundation on. And there's one person that I read every week in the Miami County Republic, and her name is Margaret Hayes, and I don't know if you have a chance to read her article, but it's called Thinking Out Loud, and I read it every week. And I really love this week because it talks about economic development, and it talks about economic development from the perspective of, I believe it was a 7th grader or 8th grader, her name was Pauline Cole, who wrote and won the contest for and the topic was Osawatomie's Resources. And it was published in the Osawatomie Graphic. And one of the things that Pauline pointed out was this: Osawatomie has more advantages and opportunities for development than any other town situated near it. And that was in 1924. And that shows you the pride that Pauline had in her community. And it also showed you that she saw promise. It's the same promise that I see and the same promise that I hear from fellow Osawatomians every day in terms of what they want in their community and what they want to strive to get. And the thing that I think really struck me was that Pauline wrote about how it's important to spend money in your own community. It's important to invest your time in your own community because it's that investment of your time and dollars that will make the difference. So economic development, one of our goals, Pauline Cole nailed it in 1924, and we need to build on it today. I want to thank Margaret for all the articles that she writes. I read it every week. It helps me as a city manager to know the history and how things became the way they are today, and then to learn from it, and then maybe apply some of those lessons to the projects that I work on every day. So with that, have a great weekend. Look forward to talking to you next week.